I'm not sure why I'm dressed as a sailor tonight, but maybe it's because I want this film to sail away. Anyway, let's talk about latency. Hello, it's Adam here again with another quick instant movie review for you. So tonight we're talking about Latency. This is the latest film starring Sasha Luss. What's it all about? Well, Hannah, played by Sasha Luss, is a professional gamer who suffers from an acute agoraphobia and is asked to trial a sophisticated new gaming equipment using AI to interpret her electrical activity in her brain hole. And she sees this as an opportunity to not only enhance her gaming, but maybe, just maybe, it'll do something for her condition or her mental state, or maybe not. As Hannah and her best friend Jen, played by Alexis Wren, experiment with this new technology, they find that the line between reality and Hannah's subconscious quickly becomes blurred, and all starts to become a little bit weird. And of course, as you would, Hannah starts wondering whether or not the device is actually serving to help her or more serving as a bit of a sinister force. AI, you say? Couldn't be bad. Anyway, this is from Australian writer-director James Croke. Now, this is James' feature film debut. He's got Lionsgate on this thing to internationally distribute it. It's been bouncing around the world for most part of 6 to 8 months. It's hit America. It's gone all around the place. If you're seeing this in Germany, it's actually called Hannah's Game. So you won't see latency anywhere. But anyway, what's this like? Well, it's like a lot of things. It's like The Lawnmower Man. It's like Inception. It's like Limitless, that Bradley Cooper thing. It's like a lot of things. But what is the quality level like, Adam? Well, the quality level is like, and this is maybe damning it with faint praise, it's like a VOD release that has snuck into theaters and then snuck out pretty much just as quickly. It's almost like it was shown by mistake and then it got taken out. And it's a little bit of a shame because I'll tell you why. Okay, so this film opens with a really cool sequence, all in one location, with some pretty good CG and some pretty good acting by Sasha Luss. Now, Sasha, she was in Anna, which is the Luc Besson film, and she was also in another Luc Besson film called Valerian, which is such an underrated movie, and it cost a fortune and didn't make any of its money back. So help it out and watch it. It's called Valerian. It's very good. After that sequence, it kind of stops and slows down. And that's kind of what happens with this film. It kind of just stops and then it doesn't recommit to anything. So this agoraphobia that that Hannah has is not fully invested in or really delved into. And then there's also repressed disaster from things that have happened before. There's things that have happened in her childhood with her mum and herself and so on and so forth. That's not overly well investigated. She's got a relationship with this girl called Jen, who's played by Alexis Wren, who is an Instagram sensation, apparently. 18 million followers. I wouldn't know her from a bar of soap, but anyway, she's an influencer. That's not what I'm doing here, but anyway, she is okay. Their relationship is kind of, is it real? Is it not? And then you've also got this, this device, this MacGuffin, this Omnia. Anyway, so that's just not really overly explained either. It just all becomes a little bit like there's lots of pieces, there's lots of balls up in the air, excuse the pun, but there's lots of balls up in the air and none of them really get caught. They just kind of hang up in the air and you can see them all up there, but they don't really do a lot. And it's a shame because the performances of these ladies, and there's really only a two-hander, mostly it's one-hander with Sasha, is really good. She's good. I think the problem here is the writing. James Croak, Australian, he's worked a lot internationally. He worked in London on lots of theatrical productions. He's come back to Australia to work in the Australian film industry. He's had this thing financed by a certain amount of money, I'm assuming, that he got to then go and film it relatively cheaply in Bangkok. It's a one location type of deal. It's like a 1 to 2 hander, so it'd be pretty easy to pretty cheap to produce, I would have thought. But yeah, I think the story needed more fleshing out. And I think what James probably should have done is maybe set it through a few more sets of eyes, really just to flush it out, or just focus purely on the writing aspect and really look at, well, what's the most interesting thing about this? I'm sorry, but we don't really care about Hannah's past and this, these demonic things that she's seeing. Well, if we are going to see those, then I don't really think we need them over explained, and we've really got to lean in fully into the horror aspect, or lean in heavily into the gaming aspect, because the story of AI with gaming, with horrific things happening, really could be extremely well investigated. And it was well investigated with the Lawnmower Man with virtual reality back in the very early 90s. Why can't we have something that is so much closer to where we are now, really tapped into with people with mental health issues doing gaming and designing gaming, and then having this thing controlling its brain? It could have been really great. I don't really think we needed all the repressed, disappointment of childhood and so on and so forth in the back end. And Jen, while she's a good sort of Florian, and at least gives us a small distraction with the fact that Hannah's all alone in this space, that's fine. But that could have almost have been a complete illusion, although I'm not going to give away all of it. But there's calling cards in this that are just a little bit disappointing, because I think they could have been really well flushed out. The performances are fine. I think with tighter direction, more interesting storyline, and a better use of this MacGuffin, I think this could have been a really good film. As it stands at the moment, it's just okay. It's really just okay. It's kind of like watching something going, oh, I really wish they'd done this, or I really wish they'd invested further in this, or why didn't someone else read this and go, why don't you just focus on that? Because that's really what this is. So James, next one's going to be better, I'm sure, but more investment into the script, and or get someone else to direct and you just write it. One of the two, but maybe juggling too many balls. And the one location is suffocating, and it probably is everything that this phobia is, that this person has, that Hannah has. So it sort of adds to that atmosphere a little bit, but then at the same instance, it also restricts the storyline, because it could have had a bigger palette to work off. But who knows? Maybe budget was also dictating here. So, Latency, I'd probably give a 5, maybe a 5.5 if I was feeling generous. It's really just that film. It's what it is. It's that film. Anyway, there it is, Latency. Comment below, let me know, what film have you seen that most perfectly demonstrates AI just taking over? That's it. It's gonna just destroy all of us. Have you got one of those AI films that you go, that's the one, that's the winner? For me, I suppose it's more virtual reality, but there's this film called The 13th Floor that was made around the same time as The Matrix and Dark City that was really cool. It's a really interesting film, and I haven't been able to track it down, but it was really good when I saw it in the very late 90s, early 2000s. It had some relatively big names. I think Gretchen Moore was in it. Of the time, Stephen Biko, I think, might have been in it. So that was an interesting film. But have you seen anything that you go, ooh, AI really won that battle, I think? Comment below, let me know, and I look forward to seeing you next time here in my car. I don't know why I'm singing.